Hello, my name's Will Ryan and I'm here to tell you about a book that I've been desperate to write for several years now. As someone interested in school leadership, I've always been impressed by the work of Patrick Lencioni, whose leadership books are set in fables, stories about real people and real situations. And for many years I became desperate to write the story set in a school about a leader who made a genuine difference. I'll read you the first couple of paragraphs from the book. Hopefully they set the tone. Brian Smith was a good head teacher. No, he was better than that. He was a really good head teacher, but he wasn't a great head teacher. Well, not yet. That would follow in the course of time. He was certainly passionate about his work and he constantly sought to improve. He thought deeply and read widely because he liked to find new approaches. He firmly believed in that wise old saying, if you do what you have always done, you will get what you've always got. And that was the last thing the children who lived in the deprivation cycle that existed on this stage around Springett Lane School needed. These kids didn't just need education, they needed inspiration and aspiration. And it was at the point where the three came together that would be real hope for them. By and large, the education system had failed these young people year in and year out. Social mobility in the area was only marginally better than it was in the 1970s. The political jargon referred to the estate of interwar pebble-dashed semi-detached houses as lower layer super output areas. This is defined as a locality that includes some of the most deprived postcodes in the country. It's the most bizarre term. The estate could never be described as super, and measurable output was minimal. There were several streets where no adults held any formal qualifications and too many young people were in neither employment nor training after finishing their full-time education. Michael Corder said the key to success in life is to make it look like you're playing to somebody else's rules while secretly playing to your own. And I guess that's the stance that Brian Smith, the head teacher in the fable, takes. He's grown very tired of listening to his political masters. He listens to their every word and then decides to do the exact opposite. The book incorporates huge amounts of research into pedagogy that spans over the decades. Successive education ministers have harked back about traditional eras. I've gone back over the eras to find out what was really being said about the best education in those eras. The book is factual. Too often politicians tell us everything that's wrong with education, but do you know what? Try reading the Ofsted annual reports. They will tell you that our primary schools now are healthier and better than they ever have been in the past. 88% of parents would recommend their primary school to another parent. Children in receipt of free school meals are reading better than they ever have done before. Our primary schools are a great success. What a shame that politicians won't tell us about this. The book takes a satirical look at our political masters and their ineptitude and the mistakes they've made over time. The book also takes a look at the tabloid newspapers. Newspapers like the Daily Mail, who like to run headlines like "Sack bad teachers before they start," or "Teachers to wear bulletproof vests to stop unruly pupils biting them." I believe the kids in our primary schools and in our schools are fabulous, fabulous and talented young people who are desperate to do their best. Each chapter takes a Daily Mail headline aimed at disparaging the teaching profession, and it's corrosive of the spirits. Yet somehow it manages to guide Brian, our hero head teacher, into further action. So what else is the book? Yes, it's factual. It's based on research. It's got ideas for the future. It's satirical. It's a comedy. It introduces the marvellous character Mrs. Burton, who manages always to get her words wrong. And she arrives at the school one day to tell the school that her daughter suffers from a peanut allergy. It's a fairy story. Father Christmas even makes a guest appearance. And maybe there's an element of thwarted love in there. Andrew Stanton is the man behind the film Toy Story. He argues that we're all made for stories and we love them. This is a book that's based around a story. But it's a story that's got a sense of reality. And many of the characters, although they're artificial and made up, there's elements of real people in there. And so we live in a world where we're driven by data with an education. So let's go back to the book Dare to be Different, and let's give two key bits of data from the book. In total, there are 118 brilliant ideas for teachers to get hold of to exploit in their classrooms. And there are 48 brilliant ideas for taking leadership forwards and ideas for staff meetings in your school. But really, the book's not about data at all. It's much more about those lessons which are that good they become three-generational and remain with the children forevermore. It's much more about children producing beautiful work. And I'm at the school, one of the schools now where I've worked for several years, St Bede's Catholic Primary School in South Yorkshire. It's a school where they put a strong emphasis on the children developing the craftsmanship of being a scholar and producing such beautiful work. It's also a school that's devised a curriculum where the teachers are not afraid to take a risk and run with it in the belief that it leads to deeper and longer lasting learning. So Dare to be Different, what is it? It's a book that's designed to be fun and inspirational to read. It's designed to be easy to read, but above everything else, it's designed to bring about transformational change in our schools. I hope you enjoy the book.